Tink. Tink, wait a minute. Haven't you forgotten something? Aren't you going to take the audience along?
Tinkerbell is an opinionated, sassy, stubborn, and hot-tempered fairy, but most of all, she can be extremely jealous. Once she warms up to people though, she is loyal and devoted to stick by her friends, which is why she has grown such a huge following. Since her debut in 1953's Peter Pan, Tinkerbell has been integrated into the branding of the Disney parks, the Disney Fairies franchise, and she is one of the most beloved symbols of the magic of Disney. Tink is an icon, and is one of Disney's most recognizable characters. But where did she come from? Who was Tinkerbell before she met Peter Pan? Hello, I'm Isaac from Once Videos, where we discuss fun topics for fun people, and today I'm revealing Tinkerbell's full story. Long before the events of Peter Pan, Tinkerbell was born from a baby's first laugh and a white dandelion seed. When the seed arrived to Pixie Hollow, Tink is tested to discover her magical talent by exposing her to a number of objects related to each fairy talent. Tinkerbell chose the Tinker Hammer, meaning she was a Tinker Fairy, which is a fact which originally came from the original 1904 story. With this assignment, she would be skilled at mending pots, kettles, and acorn caps, and she would be an innovative inventor. She grew up at the fairy home tree, located at the heart of Pixie Hollow in central Neverland, where all 4 seasons coexist. Through numerous films in the Tinkerbell film series, we see her attempt to master different talents to travel to the mainland, learn the nature of pixie dust, compete in the Pixie Hollow games, and meet her twin sister Periwinkle. She saved a rogue pirate fairy named Zarina and encountered the likes of James Hook. All of these films stress the importance of friendship, allowing Tink to build relationships with Fawn, Iridessa, Rosetta, Silvermist, and so many more. Her greatest friend though was met through explorations of Pixie Hollow and the rest of the island, and he is the guardian of Neverland and the leader of the Lost Boys, Peter Pan. Together they worked with Jake and his young crew of pirates, fought the likes of the dastardly Captain Hook, and traveled across the world together. On one occasion, Tinkerbell and Peter traveled to London in the night to visit the Darling family home to track down Peter's shadow. Tink discovered it within a drawer, but she gets trapped inside when it releases, which wakes Wendy. Wendy is heavily infatuated with the stories of Peter Pan and the Lost Boys and appears to have a crush on Peter as well, which infuriates Tinkerbell, turning her red with jealousy and even calling Wendy a big ugly girl. Although she spoke easily with her fairy friends and Peter Pan, to many individuals she only sounds like a tinkling bell, because they do not understand the language of the fairies. Her anger only grows after Wendy explains she may never see Peter again, since her father is forcing her to leave the nursery and grow up, so Peter offers her to come with him. Tinkerbell refuses to take part in Pan's idea and does not willingly gift Wendy pixie dust, but Peter sprinkles some on all of the Darling children, and they head to Neverland where they are attacked by Captain Hook. Peter tells them to head back to the Lost Boys, with Tink leading the way, but she dashes ahead and tells the Lost Boys to shoot down the Wendy bird. Her rage toward Wendy grew to a point where she was willing to murder Wendy to ensure her friendship with Peter would continue. Some have speculated the jealous tendencies of Tinkerbell indicate she was in love with Peter, but Margaret Carey, the model of Tinkerbell in the 1953 film, has contradicted this idea by stating Tinkerbell was never in love with Peter Pan. She was really worried that maybe he wouldn't take her on the adventures anymore. Tink thought he would take that ugly old girl instead of her. When Peter Pan finds out of Tink's treachery, he banishes her, giving Smee the opportunity to capture her when she is away from Peter. On Hook's ship, the captain attempts to play into Tink's hate for the terrible Wendy by stating he will get rid of her if she reveals Peter's hideout. And when Tink gives in, captures her in a lantern. When Tink learns of a plot to end Peter's life, she breaks free of her trap and heads for Hangman's Tree. There she tries to warn Peter of Hook's plot, but he brushes her claims off as nonsense. The bomb Hook planted begins to ring rapidly, ready to explode, but Tink takes it away from Peter and sacrifices herself. Peter was safe, but Tink was fatally injured. Luckily, Peter restores her life by telling her just how much she means to him. Tinkerbell and Peter Pan venture to Captain Hook's ship to defeat him and rescue the Lost Boys and the Darlings. To return their new friends home, Tinkerbell covers Hook's ship in pixie dust, allowing them to fly out of Neverland. Tinkerbell had another near-death experience in the film Return to Neverland, after Wendy's daughter Jane refuses to believe in the magic around her. This results in Tinkerbell becoming terribly ill. Even after the Lost Boys try to assimilate Jane as a lost girl and show her all Neverland has to offer, their efforts are not large enough for Tinkerbell's bright light of life died. When Jane discovered Tink, she mourns the fairy and her belief in fairies begins to arise until Tink is revived. With Tinkerbell alive and Peter and the gang in trouble, Jane and Tink head to the Jolly Roger, free the Lost Boys, and defeat Hook, allowing Jane to return home. While there, Peter and Tink have a brief reunion with the fully grown Wendy and head back home to Neverland. Other significant iterations of Tinkerbell include Julia Roberts' version in the film Hook, in which she professes her love for the adult Peter Pan, and the Peter and the Starcatchers version, where she transforms from a bird to a fairy after being exposed to star stuff, better known in the Disney version as pixie dust. Tinkerbell is a classic Disney character who is strong-willed, passionate, and possesses a loyalty unlike any other, which has allowed Tink to gain a huge story and a franchise of her own. She had adventures all over the world, met so many friends, and spread her pixie dust to all who were thinking of a happy little thought. This video was sponsored by my patrons over at Patreon. Patreon is a voluntary pledge service where you can support creators like me while also earning exclusive rewards. If you are interested in donating to help grow the channel, check out the page at patreon.com/WhatSoVideos. If you'd like to continue to learn about Tinkerbell, then I'll leave the links to the movies and resources I used in the description of this video. So now it's time for your thoughts. Do you enjoy Tinkerbell? And have you seen all of the Disney Fairy movies? Let me know in the comments section along with any other ideas you have for future Discovering Disney episodes. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more like it, then consider subscribing to WhatSoVideos and click the bell if you'd like to be notified when I post. Thanks for watching and have a magical day.